ladies and gentlemen? Another edition of the NFL betting preview provided by EliteSportsBetting.com. I'm going to give it a little bit of time here for people to come in. 8-4 yesterday on the college football slate, and a loss was added in the Texas A&M Mississippi State game. But 8-4, can't complain about that. Decent amount of plays this week in NFL. We got 6 locked and loaded at EliteSportsBetting.com from earlier in the week. But as always, going to break down the slate here, rotation order, going through each game, giving a little bit of a breakdown. If I don't have much to say about the game, I'll be pretty quick with it. But get going here in just a little bit here. All right. Let's get rolling. All right. First game, Washington at Atlanta. Washington at Atlanta. Atlanta +1. This actually has just moved to +1.5. I literally just made those banners before the show started. Total's 47.5, juice towards the under. Do have a play in this game. I played Falcons +108, which the money lines kind of stayed pat here at a little bit in the plus money. +108 isn't available anywhere, I don't think. Let me check at the books that I play at. I see +107. There's a +110 out there. So, yeah, I think the Falcons should be short favorites here. I don't understand Washington. I don't know if we're still thinking their defense is great. I think their defense is okay. I don't think it's anything special. But they've ranked. It's definitely not what we thought this top 5 off or defense could have been. They're bottom 5 in EPA per play. It's just the pass rush isn't getting home. Teams are getting the ball out quick, and their defensive backfields just not good enough. On the flip side, Atlanta's offense has been terrible. I think they're bottom 5 in EPA per play as well. I don't know if that's Matt Ryan just being washed or if it's new offense and new pieces. But they can't you just shut down Calvin Ridley, and it's basically like, hey, can a rookie and Kyle Pitts make the plays? But even after that, it gets really rough. Matt Ryan doesn't look good. But I just I don't know if this pass rush gets home today for Washington, but it hasn't so far this year, so it's no reason to think that it will today. And I think that bodes well for Atlanta here. The numbers make this a short favorite here. I think Washington's being propped up by their defense. Heineke is okay. I think he can make some plays. I don't really trust him long term to make the right decisions. I don't know if Atlanta's defense is one to shut him down, but I still think it's a below average offense here for Washington. Average defense. I don't think they're as bad as they've been this year, but I don't think they're anywhere close to this top 5 unit that we were kind of willing them into. Atlanta's defense has been all right to start the year. I know they haven't played the best offenses. They're still probably a below average unit, but again, a little bit of home field, not a ton in the NFL in 2021, but I just can't get behind Washington being a couple points better than Atlanta here. So I would play the money line, basically down into the plus 100 is probably any plus money price. I would be okay with taking Atlanta. Wouldn't play the plus 1.5. Just not worth it. More value on the money line, in my opinion. I do believe that they are a good teaser play, which is kind of scary because bad teams and teasers tend to go poorly. But average total here, I do lean under here as well. Earlier in the week, prices, this was 48. I think we've seen this trickle down. 47.5 is juiced under as well. So I do lean under here. Maybe a low possession game here. I think Atlanta is live on the money line and a good teaser leg as well. Detroit and Chicago. That's kind of tough to get a read on this game. Chicago -3, 41.5 is your total. Justin Fields going again with Andy Dalton being out. I guess he's not out yet. Or no, he wasn't out by Schefter last night, but can't be worse, right? I think we can all agree on that. Fields was sacked 9 times. I don't know if were they like 1 net passing yard or whatever the heck it was. But pretty horrible debut. I don't think that'll be the future of Justin Fields. I thought the offense was pretty bland, in my opinion, from Matt Nagy, and he got ripped in the media this week about how bland it was. But it just kind of looked like it's like he didn't want to start Justin Fields. I don't know. They had Nick Foles, so I don't know why if he didn't want to start him. If there's a disagreement in the front office and Nagy there, but it looked like he just kind of said like, all right, you're not going to do well today because I'm not going to give you a chance to. The offensive line was terrible. They didn't get him moving at all. They just basically said, hey, drop back. You're going to get sacked a million times, literally 9 times last week. I don't think Detroit's built for that this week. Admittedly, there are some injuries on Chicago's defense that does make this a little interesting. Khalil Mack, it was questionable. A couple other pieces are banged up for Chicago on defense. Detroit, I said this last week and 2 weeks ago as well. Detroit's that team that I think is pesky. I don't think Chicago's any good by any means, but I think Detroit can kind of hang with. We saw them hang with Green Bay for a half. We saw them obviously come back in week 1 against San Fran. Last week takes a record-breaking kick for them to not pull away with a win against the Ravens. But DeAndre Swift has been good. He was on the injury report this week, but he should be good to go. Trey Flowers is out. They do, again, I don't care about their wide receiver core. Tyrell Williams is on the IR with a concussion, but they haven't had wide receivers all year, so I don't really expect much different here. I lean over. I didn't play it because there are better things for me to do than to bet over 41.5, 42, whatever number you're getting. You can get a 42 at plus money. It's a slight lean. The 41.5 number is, you can get a pretty low VIG there as well. But, I'm looking at a -106, 41.5. I think that has some value. Again, I am not playing it. I want nothing to do with Matt Nagy here. I personally think that I don't want to say that he's like kind of sabotaged Fields, but I don't think this will be as bad as last week. I make this game right around 3. So I think this is kind of priced appropriately spread wise. I just think 41.5. I think Detroit can move the ball a little bit. I think that Chicago will be better than last week. I think this is an overreaction to Chicago and how they looked under Fields. I think Justin Fields and this Chicago offense will be a little bit more creative this week, and we can see some points. Defenses, Detroit's defense, not good. It's bad, right? We'll look at both of these defenses. Detroit, they give up the pass. You should be able to pass on Detroit. If you're Matt Nagy, you should be able to devise a plan. Justin Fields is talented enough. This is the worst pass defense in football this year. And then on the flip side, look at the Bears. They've been about an average unit so far when you're looking at EPA and success rate and those things. But again, I think Goff and this offense and the way they're using Swift, it works. So I lean over here. I've spent way too much time talking about this game, but I do think both offenses can find success here. 41.5, super low total in today's NFL. It's gross, but I lean over there. Not something that I've played though. Tennessee at the New York Jets. Tennessee is a 6-point road favorite here. Total's 44.5. Obviously, the news, if you somehow didn't pay attention to any of the news this week in the NFL, A.J. Brown and Julio Jones are both out for this game. Caleb Farley will not be going. Bud Dupree will not be going. So ton of injuries for Tennessee. They've been banged up both sides of the ball here. Obviously, not a good start as we're only into week 4 so far. Oh, I didn't change the banner. Apologies, I didn't change the banner for the opener, but we move on. This line was 7. Did we even have an 8? Yeah, we had 8 earlier in the week. I leaned Jets. I knew some people that were on the Jets. I am disgusted with myself that I didn't grab some 8. I'm okay with it, though, just because of how bad Zach Wilson has looked. Jamison Crowder does look like he's good to go. Elijah Moore is still out. Marcus May out, obviously. Outside of that, they're looking okay. But, Becton on the IR from a couple weeks ago. I just can't trust Wilson. +8, they're going to start covering games here. Someone said this to me about Jacksonville on Thursday night, and obviously Jacksonville ended up covering that game. But it's the same type of thing here. Can the Jets find a way to cover this number? I think at 6, you're out of your mind if you're playing the Jets at this price. I don't think Tennessee's defense is any good, but Wilson, and he just looks overwhelmed. Right now, the offense isn't doing him any favors. There's not a lot of talent on the team. Tennessee, it'll be interesting to see if they can move the ball. I like to think that they still can. The Jets defense hasn't been horrible to start the year. They've shown some heart against offenses that aren't exactly great by any means, but that does make me think that this total is justified at 44.5. I have a slight lean to the under, but again, I think we might be overreacting to Tennessee's losses on defense here, but I can't get on board. I think right now this is basically a pass. Titans are nothing for me, in my opinion. Who wants to bet under a touchdown Zach Wilson against a team with Ryan Tannehill playing quarterback on the other side? It's still, the quarterback means so much here, and Wilson is he's just not good right now. The future may be bright for him. I don't know, but he's not good in week 4 of the NFL season 2021. Ryan Tannehill can still make the throws, can still move the ball. So I don't know. I think if you're betting the Jets here at +6, you're just asking to lose money at this point. So can't really. You missed the number on the Jets. You had +8, you had +7.5 all week, even +7. I could get down with, but if you're betting the Jets at this point, there's better things that you can be doing with money on a Sunday morning. Cleveland at Minnesota. Game I added later in the week over to leadsportsbetting.com. So I do have a bet in this one. Minnesota is currently +1. Total in this game is 51.5. I played under 51.5 -107. Best price out there right now is that current price. We haven't seen much movement. Here's the thing. I talked about this on Lunch Money Friday with Pilar. I think both teams are going to run the ball, and I think they're going to have some success running the ball. Obviously, there's nothing that we need to say about Cleveland's rush offense. They're fantastic, but I don't know who's going to want to, pass on it. Definitely if you're Kirk Cousins. I know Kirk Cousins has been playing great, but I don't know if you really want to pass on this Cleveland defense with this pass rush right now. Minnesota has been known to run the ball. They like to run the ball. Dalvin Cook is looks like he's going to be a go, but even with Madison in there, I think they're both fine. Christian Darrisaw is back for Minnesota, which helps them. Anthony Barr is questionable. We'll see how that goes. But Cleveland, obviously, Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney, we've seen the pass rush that they've given up, but Chris Hubbard's out. Jedrick Wills is questionable. Greg Newsome looks like he's out as well. So Cleveland does have some injuries on defense, which does make this a little bit nervous for me. But I think Minnesota, I don't think they're going to have a lot of time to throw downfield because of this Cleveland pass rush. Cleveland's faced a pretty tough schedule pass-wise if you're looking at raw numbers. I think Minnesota's going to try to run the ball. I think Cleveland's going to try to run the ball. This Minnesota defense, I see some strength on their run defense so far this year. They've also played some good defenses. So I think people would think this game's just going to be, hey, we're going to air it out and whatever. I don't see it. I think both teams run the ball here. This clock is going to move. I think Browns games in general, because of how much they run the ball, are overpriced because we think that they have this prolific pass offense. But Jarvis Landry's out. OBJ, I know he played. I think he played like 50 some snaps last week. I just don't see Cleveland throwing it a ton. They're about an average team so far this year in dropback EPA. Dropback success rate, they're much better, but they're the best team running the ball. Jacksonville's the only team that's even close running the ball. They're going to run the ball. And I think we get into these things where we're with how much these two teams like to run. We're seeing it a way above average total here. Both defenses are fine. I don't think it's something where these teams are just going to start passing the ball and all around. Cleveland's got injuries to their offensive line. I think they're going to run the ball. They're not going to risk Mayfield running around like crazy. Chubb is fantastic. Obviously, Hunt is great as a compliment to him as well. So again, I just can't get behind Cleveland. They play super slow. Minnesota plays about average, so I guess I can't really. I mean, they're a little bit below average. Right about average. Maybe a little bit below. You're seeing two slow teams who like to run the ball. I don't know how you're getting to this total. I don't think both defenses are terrible by any means. I don't think they're great. I think the offenses are better. I just see this game, clock moving. I can't see this just being a game with a ton of dropbacks. I know Cousins have been great, but I think this is a little too high here. 51.5 would be my limit. If this ticks down, I would not. Or if you have a 51, I would not be playing it. So, a little bit comments here. James, would you take the under in the Atlanta-Washington game? Let me check. I said I leaned that way. It's currently 47.5 minus 107. No, I would not in that Washington-Atlanta game. I lean that way, but the price is not there. Would you take the under in the Titans-Jets game? Under 45? No. I lean that way, but it's not worth the prices, and I'm plenty fine ignoring like mid to low 40s. I mean, it's a mid 40s game. It's not that low, but with all the injuries the Titans have, I think we might be overreacting to how much we're going in that. And there's 45, sure, you're getting a good number because it's 44.5 most places. The best price I'm seeing is 44.5 minus 111. So sure, you have if you get some regular juice at that 45, James, I think you're okay there, but it's nothing that I'm going to be betting right now. MLB Dream, welcome. Yes, I forgot to mention the Mariners. I did off the top. MLB playoffs, if you haven't noticed, 4 teams in the AL wildcard coming down to the last day here. Should be fantastic. Indianapolis, almost said Indiana, at the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins currently minus 2.5. Total in this game is 42.5. Earlier in the week, I played Dolphins minus 1.5, minus 114. I still don't understand why this line was like 1.5. If anybody's seen the Colts injury report, and like this wasn't like these injuries happened in practice and we didn't know this was coming. Carson Wentz was on the injury report all week with 2 sprained ankles. So funny to me. Quentin Nelson on the IR. He would not be going. Kari Willis, Rock Ya-Sin, Braden Smith. They're all out. Kwity Paye out. They get good news. Darius Leonard is probable. Antoine Woods is in there. Jack Doyle is still questionable. This team is absolutely gutted right now. And we're seeing this Dolphins line at minus 1.5. I said on Friday it was minus. It was you still had a chance of betting at minus 1.5. A better number than what I got at minus. I got minus 114. It was minus 107. I actually rushed to bet mine because I thought the number was going to start taking off. because I thought this should be closer to 3. But I don't know if people are holding out hope for Friday injury reports, but I don't see how Miami was a 1.5 point favorite against this Colts team. Miami's defense is still good. Brissett, I don't know if people think like Brissett's this terrible downgrade over Tua. I think it's about equal. Brissett is a fine quarterback. You know, you could argue he might be the best backup in the NFL. I think that's probably pretty fair to say. But yeah, I think Miami has the better defense here. I think Miami has the better offense here. At least very equal offenses. I don't know how much most people are giving Miami. Again, they didn't really have much home field when home field mattered a ton. Now home field doesn't really matter all that much. But if you want to give them a little bit of something, again, I don't know how with the better defense and just being the better team overall, how you could have got -1.5 on Miami earlier in this week. 2.5, I think I think we're into a better spot here on what this game should be lined at. I have it at a little bit closer to 3. Not worth betting in my opinion, but yeah, this number's moved. I don't think there's anything worth going for here. Total 43. I thought you could have some value. 42.5. I still lean under a little bit. I don't think Indianapolis can move the ball. Carson Wentz loves the shovel pass. We'll see how many shovel passes we get this week. But I lean under in that game. Good time to point out, head over to elitesportsbetting.com. Get the games early. Lines move. We're beating the market early in the week, so can't be betting. If you're betting, basically to sum it up, if you're betting the NFL at 10:22 Eastern time, Sunday morning before the games, things aren't going to go well for you. So unless you're trying to pick off injuries, surprise injuries before kick, things aren't going to go well for you. Carolina, Dallas -4. Total in this game 51.5. I guess I lean Dallas at the current prices. What's the juice on that 4? I forget off the top of my head. Yeah, I would lean Dallas at -4. I don't love it because the Monday night game, they just smoked Philly on Monday night. But I do think Dallas is the much better team here. Total's 51.5. That has come up from 50. I leaned over at 50. That has dried up as well. Subjectively, I just think Dallas has too much offense. Darnold has hit some big shots, definitely to Robbie Anderson so far this year. But I don't really have a ton of. There just hasn't been much for me to be excited about with this Carolina offense. It's I know Joe Brady is great and everything, but they're definitely. They've been, if you just look at raw numbers, top half of the league, almost top 10 in EPA per play, and not that, I mean, a decent gap between Dallas, but the teams they have played have not been great. I don't think the defenses are anything that we want to say, oh, Carolina has a good offense. I like Joe Brady. I like his system. I think he has great play calling abilities. I just don't think the team is there. They do lose Christian McCaffrey, he's out. Gross Matos is out for them as well. They do get CJ Henderson, but JC Horn obviously on the IR as well. So they kind of got gutted a little bit injury wise here. I just don't think Dallas, I know Carolina's like everybody thinks they look great so far this year because of who they've played. I just personally, in my opinion, their defense is they're number one in EPA per play. I don't think Carolina's defense is that good. They've played some horrible teams to start the year. I think this might be a little bit short for Dallas here. I can't get. I don't have enough of a play here. Yeah, it's not an edge. I lean. I think the prices are fine on this game, but I do lean, and subjectively, I lean Dallas here. Don't really love the spot, but I really think Dallas with their pass rush. Micah Parsons going to D end. I've said this for a while. I said this when he was drafted. I said this when he was at Penn State. He's not a linebacker. When he came out of high school, he was an edge. Penn State did not have enough linebackers. They moved him to linebacker. This guy is fantastic at rushing the passer. This is all he should do, basically on 90% of his snaps. Randy Gregory does look probable. They do have some COVID injuries, and their defense is a little beat up, but like Tristan Hill's probable in there, but Donovan Wilson's out, so there are some injuries. I just don't know if Carolina has the offensive firepower to stay with it in this game. I think Dallas can put up points. I think the pass rush of Dallas can make things difficult with Gregory and Parsons going at Sam Darnold and this Carolina offense. So subjectively lean Dallas here, but numbers, I have nothing on this game. I'm pretty much on market, slightly into Dallas. Giants at Saints. Saints -7, -107. Total in this game is 41.5. I played Giants +7.5, +100 early in the week. Obviously a very good number for what's market. I got a cheap 7.5, and you're paying a slightly shaded 7 now at most places. Best line available in this game is at 7 at -108. So I got 8 cents better and a half a point. So again, head over early. You got to bet early to win in the NFL. James, any picks you like? I'm literally going through every game right now and giving all the picks. So just keep listening. And I literally just gave out the Giants that I played earlier this week. I still think at 7, this is worth a play. Let me just make sure of that real quick. Yeah, I would play the Giants at +7. I said, again, on lunch money on Friday with Pilar, I don't really understand how the Saints are. I know Danny Dimes can get wild and everything, but I don't understand how the Saints offense is laying 7. It makes no sense to me. If anybody has watched their games outside of this week 1 game against Green Bay, which I don't think is a good method to really rate someone, you take away that game from Green Bay, where Green Bay it would look like a preseason game for Green Bay, and all of a sudden New Orleans is like a bottom 5 offense. Jameis is just dinking and dunking. It's not much of a different offense than with what Drew Brees had. So I really can't. I can't get behind them. 7.5 that it was early in the week, and the total this low. This total was 43 earlier in the week too. I was talking to some people and saying like I like the under too. I played the Giants under last week. I played the Giants under 2 weeks ago. This would be the 3rd one in a row, and we're finally seeing. I think the Giants defense is capable, and I don't think New Orleans is going to have like an easy day moving the ball in this Giants defense. So I'm very bullish on New Orleans point total being low. I don't like the total at 40, 41.5, but I leaned a little bit towards the under. But I just can't see New Orleans getting out to a lead. Now, there's always the chance with Danny Dimes, because he loves to turn the ball over, that he just finds a way to give New Orleans short fields, and that's it. But I don't know who's laying -7 with the Saints this week. I would love to hear the reasoning. I've been low. I played against the Giants twice now. I played on them in week 1. I played twice against them twice the last 2 weeks. I just can't get there. New Orleans, Taron Armstead is out. The defense has been kind of banged up. Eric McCoy's out on the offensive line as well. The defense has been banged up the last couple weeks. Obviously, still no Michael Thomas. He's on the PUP list. The Giants, yes, there is a worry. Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton are both out. They do Ben Bredesen on the offensive line as well. Lost Blake Martinez. I'm not super worried. Again, I don't think New Orleans has the offense to really like just move the ball up and down the field a ton of times against this Giants defense. I still think this Giants defense is respectable. I don't think they're good. I think they're about close to average. I think last year I was playing a lot of Giants unders because I thought their defense was playing well, and they don't exactly on offense, even though Danny Dimes does have moments of brilliance. They don't exactly play fast. They're a below average pace team. New Orleans, they play slow as well. So slow pace, decent defenses, offenses that are limited. Give me 7.5 in the NFL. This should be a close game. Low total. I'll take the dog. I still like the game at 7 if you're looking to bet it now. I don't think the Saints should be laying 7 to probably anybody right now. Jets maybe, but Kansas City at Philly. Philly plus 6.5. We ticked up to 7 at some places, paying some juice there. Total in this game 54. Kansas City they've lost 2 in a row. Philly just got this is tough. I don't know what this line is. If Philly, we're seeing this is ticking up for a bunch now. I'm even seeing some 7.5s at some big plus money. I don't know if Philly doesn't get blown out. I think this line's probably like 5.5 if they don't get blown out. Short week. I know Kansas City people are like, we do this when Mahomes like in company are just like, oh look, they're struggling, but offense has still been great. They've played a pretty tough schedule. The Chargers are a good team. The Browns are a good team. The Ravens are a good team. I'm not too worried about it. All those games basically came down to the last second. Chiefs defense obviously has not been great this year, but again, I don't think they're playing an offense this week that exactly scares their defense. This total is 54.5. This earlier in the week, I had a slight lean towards the under. It's ticked down to 54 at some shops, right? Still some 54.5s out there though. So again, slightest of leans towards the under. I make this game a touch over 7, so I needed a Kansas City like -6 to get involved. I think 6.5, and now we're seeing it climb over to 7 is the right call here. Kansas City injury report, they look pretty good. I know Clark and Ward are out, but outside of that, they're looking pretty good. I don't know if this Philadelphia offense, they didn't run the ball at all last week, which is whatever. I just thought they attacked Dallas's defense very poorly. Definitely with Dallas's defense just being so pass rush heavy. But injury report for Mailata's out again, which is a big loss for Philly. We kind of saw, I didn't expect their offensive line to look as poor as it did against Dallas, and Mailata was a pretty big factor there. Outside of that, they're pretty healthy though. They're doing all right. Obviously, they lost Brandon Graham a couple of weeks ago. The strength of this Philadelphia team were on the offensive and defensive line. Arguably, their best player on both are out, and it's just not. That's not how you want to face Patrick Mahomes. So. I guess a slight lean towards Philly here, Kansas City, slight lean to the under. But again, nothing that I want to play here. I guess you could say Kansas City is a decent teaser piece, super high total in this game. But if they get over 7, if they get to 7.5, sure, but they're not really that close to getting to 7.5 yet. So can't really say that they're worth a shot there. Houston at Buffalo. -17. We're seeing some places tick up to 17.5. Total 47. Minus, we're at shaded towards the under. You're paying a little bit to bet the under in this game. 47.5 -116. I played 48 -117 earlier in the week. At that time that I was betting, that was the best price available. There was some 47.5s. With some higher juice as well. So got some CLV. I'm happy to have a 48 now that CLV is looking like it's going to be okay. But I don't know how Houston really scores. I think Buffalo's defense is solid. I don't think they're as good as they've been to start the year. Um, I don't think they've exactly played offense as they played Washington. They've played Pittsburgh. I think their defense is a little bit overrated. However, they're facing Houston again. Davis Mills at quarterback. I was high on Houston with Tyrod Taylor. I thought that I bet them week 1. I thought that line was ridiculous against the Jags. Obviously, Tyrod Taylor with the hamstring injury is not going today. I think Buffalo defense will be more than fine against this Texans team. Davis Mills just isn't it. Injury report. It's a couple guys questionable on defense. Poyer's out for Buffalo, but for the most part, Buffalo's pretty healthy. Houston's injury report. They've had some COVID on defense. They got a couple guys out with that. Their wide receiver core has been banged up over the past couple weeks. I don't see how Houston scores many points in this game. We're seeing this line tick up, I think, because of those injuries and just a big favorite in general. But Buffalo, you do have the worry that Buffalo's offense just clicks, like Allen's on fire, and all of a sudden Buffalo puts up like 38 or something crazy like that. And obviously you just need basically 2 scores from Houston at that point. I do lean under at this 47.5 or this 47.5 if you can get a more normal vig. Like even if you get 47, like if you see 47 like plus money or something, I would take that rather than paying an expensive 47.5. But I like that under as well. I just don't see Houston having much success on offense here. I could see Buffalo getting out to a lead and kind of just sitting on it. I'd rather them not, because we've seen kind of like last week, they just kept scoring. There were some turnovers there. But that's the worry. Houston turning the ball over here, giving Buffalo short fields. But Buffalo, another factor that I like in this game, Buffalo goes to Kansas City next week. I could see them really just going bland, win this game, get through it healthy, not going to push the envelope here. So again, 47 at plus money, 47.5. If you can get some more normal vig than what's out there, I think this under is worth a play. I played 48 minus 117 earlier in the week. I don't see Houston scoring. Buffalo's not going to keep their foot on the gas for too long. Look ahead spot to Kansas City. I think this game goes under. There is a note. There is some weather in this game. There could be some heavy rain. Depending on how heavy it is, like normal rain is not really that big of a factor in totals, but if there is like a downpour, there could be some heavy rain in this game. That's only going to help the under in general. The rain outside of that, I'm not really that worried about. So Arizona and the Rams. Rams are -4 total in this game, 54 with some heavy juice towards the under. Best price available. Yeah, there's still some 54s out there with normal juice, but there are some places 54 juiced way under. I liked Arizona early in the week. The number went really quick. They were +5.5. I didn't really understand that line. I think we're overreacting to the Rams against the Bucs last week. I lean under in this game. I don't love it because of injuries to Arizona and just in general of just how this game went. Arizona's offense kind of banged up on the offensive line, but it looks like most of them are going to be good to go. DeAndre Hopkins, it looks like a full go. I don't think he was playing 100% last week. But I was on Arizona's unders last week. I think just because we see Arizona as this great offensive team, which I think they are pretty good, their drives a lot of times are extended by Murray's legs. So you're seeing a lot of clock gets run a lot. You're seeing kind of longer drives because he's extending and just getting enough for the first down. They get back in the huddle, go that. But top 5 in EPA per play. Both of these teams, the Rams obviously have been fantastic. We look at the defenses. The Rams, obviously they played the Bucs. They looked pretty good. Bucs were, Antonio Brown Rob Gronkowski were out. I don't know what to make of it. But Arizona's defense has been pretty good. Haven't played the best of teams, yes, but again, they've been solid as well. I know LA didn't they didn't run like any play action, and Stafford was throwing the ball, but again, I just lean under. I was an under on Arizona last week. The game had no business getting even close to the number that it did, but huge game here at 4. I think that's about right. I don't have a lean at 4. I think the number is good there. And I have the slightest of leans towards the under in this game, but I didn't play it. It really just didn't. I don't know. I don't know if I like this LA. If they throw the ball a ton, I don't think I'm properly grasping that in my model because of how much they're just changing. McVay's changing because he's not disguising Goff's issues. He's truly just playing to score as many points as possible. Makes me a little nervous on the Rams side, but I do lean under in this one. Spread the side I think is fine. Seattle at San Fran. Current price, San Fran a minus 2.5 point favorite. Total in this game 51.5. That's ticked down from 52 that I've saw when I started. I lean Seattle at the plus 2.5. San Francisco, Armstead's back in there, which hurt Josh Norman's out. I still don't think San Fran has the corners to play, like to have a good defense. We saw Aaron Rodgers and company kind of put up. Obviously, they put up 28 last week. Seattle, for the most part, Tyler Lockett looks good to go, which helps. For the most part, they're good. DK Metcalf was on the injury report. Dwayne Eskridge is still out, but you're seeing Brandon Shell's out. I don't see. I kind of see this similarly to the Packers game last week, except the Packers were somehow getting 3.5, 4 earlier in the week. I still lean Seattle here. I think Seattle's offense can score here. I think Russ and company can again. I just don't think San Fran has the D-backs to play here, and I think San Fran, even with Jimmy G, Trey Lance is the red zone package. However they do it, I 52 just seems a little bit low. This game can get a little bit worried here with possibly running the ball too much, but I was told Seattle's going to throw the ball a ton. They have thrown the ball more, but I leaned on under in Seattle's first game of the year against the Colts. I leaned under in the Seattle Minnesota game. I'm over here. I leaned over last week as well in the San Fran game. I think we're overstating how much San Fran likes to run the ball because they can move it. Game does get a little worried because if there are a lot of runs, clock does get turned up a little bit, but I lean over here. I lean Seattle. I think Seattle's a solid teaser piece. Again, you're getting a high total here, but I just don't quite. I think Seattle's live. I'll say it. I think Seattle's live here on the money line. The San Francisco defensive backfield against Russ in these weapons on offense just doesn't sit well with me. Slight lean in the numbers to Seattle. I think Seattle has a very good chance of winning this game outright. I lean over as well, but I just haven't pulled the trigger there. You could get around plus 120 on the Seattle money line right now, so I like that. The 2.5 is fine. You want to kind of check and see what your edge is there. On the 2.5 versus the money line, but if you can get a low vig 2.5, you might be better off playing that than the money line. You just have to check. That's you got a line shop. Big key to squeezing out profit, definitely when it comes to the NFL. So I don't love the matchup for San Fran's defensive backfield. We just saw Green Bay threw on them. Aaron Rodgers, they were banged up. I know Armstead didn't play, but Seattle or Green Bay didn't. They were playing like a third string left tackle with an already banged up offensive line. I think Seattle has success today that forces San Fran to play the ball, throw the ball. So lean Seattle, lean over. Baltimore, Denver. Sneaky good game. I didn't think we thought Baltimore, Denver was as good as they are, but Denver -1 total in this game, 44. They've been flipping back and forth from the one since I made the banners here, as Denver was +1. Baltimore injury reports brutal. I haven't seen since the show started if we have Marlon Humphrey. Villanueva is questionable. Just the injury report for the Baltimore has just been absolutely brutal. From Ronnie Stanley's out. Brandon Williams looks like he's back, but McPhee is questionable. I know Lamar was on the injury report, but I don't really take too much of it. But they do get some pieces back from COVID. Last week they're back for this week on defense. Definitely Justin Houston, Madubuike, Brandon Williams are back, so they do get bumped there. But Marlon Humphrey, this off or defensive backfield was banged up. If Humphrey can't go, that is problematic. Denver on the other side, they have some question marks. Baron Browning, Draymond Jones questionable. It's not a great game. Graham Glasgow is out this week for them. KJ Hamler, they lost 2 weeks ago, I think, or was that last week? He's out as well. I subjectively lean Baltimore here. I actually think Denver -1 is probably a pretty fair line with how the injuries are going. But Baltimore was +2 in the week. I thought they were. I thought that was a little bit short. I leaned there. Nothing for me to play. I think Baltimore was. If you can get a +1.5, if you can get that into a teaser leg, I think that's your best teaser leg of the week. Getting them over 7 to 7.5. Low total in this game. I make the total 44.2, so I'm right on market there. And I make this Denver -point, like a half a point. So, like I said, I kind of lean towards Baltimore. The injuries are a little worrisome. I thought Baltimore had the value at +2. We'll see. This Denver pass rush will be interesting with Lamar. If he's able to escape, I think that could cause some problems for Denver. I think Denver's defense is phenomenal, but a little bit different test when you face Lamar Jackson because he's nothing like any other quarterback in the league. But yeah, number tried up on Baltimore. I don't think there's any value on the side or total here, so I'm not going to spend too much time here because I got nothing to say. If you can get Baltimore +1.5 or better on a stale line, I think teasing Baltimore up is the best teaser leg of the week. Pittsburgh at Green Bay. This game's an absolute mess. Kevin King doubtful. Marquez Valdez-Scantling out. Jenkins on the offensive line for Green Bay doubtful. A couple more guys for Green Bay are questionable. Pittsburgh, Chase Claypool out. He pulled his hamstring in practice this week. Okorafor out. Juju Smith-Schuster is probable. Carlos Davis out. Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, the big ones there. They're both probable. Deontay Johnson also probable. So injuries kind of went. They got good news on the defensive line for Pittsburgh. Bad news on the offensive side of the ball with Claypool and Okorafor. I guess kind of half bad, half good. Okorafor being out and Claypool being out, but also Deontay Johnson and Juju Smith-Schuster both in. I said before this week, I had someone tell me they're playing Green Bay -6, and it just looks like I don't know how you can bet Pittsburgh in this spot. Total's 45. I can't get people I don't know if we saw a 7. If I don't know if we did, I missed it, but earlier in the week, I cannot get Green Bay to -7 in this game. I can't get them to -6.5 in this game. 6, I think, is the right number, and we're seeing this trickle down. I know the injuries haven't gone well for Green Bay later in the week here, but they didn't exactly go well for Pittsburgh either. Pittsburgh's offensive line is bad. They're missing a starter. I don't know how it gets any worse. Obviously, Roethlisberger is totally washed. He's not going to be able to throw the ball. He doesn't have the arm strength anymore, which he has to then You can tell when he really tries to like put something into the ball, his accuracy is just totally gone. It's really hard to see how they score consistently here. I mean, maybe, Matt Canada, the offense coordinator, he's known for having a very unique offense, tons of motions and all this. Maybe he can start doing some crazy plays because they need it. Their defense, it's going to be kind of like 2019 Pittsburgh when Roethlisberger was out with the elbow injury. The defense is still going to be good. Highsmith and Waterback, I know their defensive tackles are a little bit thin. There's no if Highsmith or Watt go back down with a groin injury, it's going to get brutal for them because they just don't have the depth. Alu broke his ankle earlier in the year. Stephon Tuitt's still out. But when Cam Hayward and TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith have been on the field, they've just been unstoppable. So that'll be very interesting to see versus Green Bay offensive line and see if they can pressure Rodgers, because Rodgers has not done well against pressure. But I just don't know how they score in this game. His total was 45.5 early in the week. I thought that under was a solid play. I still like the under a decent bit. I haven't played it. There's just a ton of injuries. I don't know if Pittsburgh's going to change things up because I think they know that they have to. I don't know if they're going to do some different things on offense, but I don't see how they score much unless somehow Roethlisberger, he does like to throw the ball deep, and that is a problem. He will YOLO some balls. One, it can be caught, obviously, but clockwise, that hurts. We've seen some Pittsburgh games get up in the totals, like Cincinnati and last week. It kind of got a little scary there for underbettors. The Raiders game a couple weeks ago, same thing. It is because Pittsburgh gets down. They have to throw the ball. They're not afraid to throw the ball a ton. They can't run with Najee Harris. I don't know why they drafted him, but tough for me to see Pittsburgh scoring points in this game. Green Bay offensive line should have their hands full. We'll see what Matt LaFleur draws up off the big win from San Fran last week. I lean under at 45 minus 101. I think that's a pretty solid play, but again, with Pittsburgh's game script, it can be tough to see this game. It could be tough to see the clock moving in this game. There is a chance of rain in this game. That could, I say, like, rain doesn't bother me, but now that I think about it, with Roethlisberger, if it's harder to grip the ball, then he already has lost the arm strength, so that could be a disaster as well. So lean under side, I think, is good at 6. I think that number's right. Lean under at 45. You can get, I'm seeing minus 101 out there. You can get a pretty good price on under 45 in Green Bay. So the game that nobody's talked about all week, Tampa Bay at New England. Tom's return, obviously. New England plus 6.5. We're seeing totals 49.5. Shaded a little bit towards the over. It's looking like I played Bucks over, or I played the over in this game, 49 minus 103. We've seen some good CLV there. I don't think New England's defense is as good as we've seen so far this year. They've played some pretty poor offenses. Miami, the Jets, and the Saints. Those are all, I've talked during this show, that they're all below average offenses. You're now facing a top 5 offense in the league. Antonio Brown's back this week, which I think is very big for Tampa Bay's offense. Gronkowski is out, so that is, obviously that hurts, but I don't think that's a huge loss. I think Brown being in there gives them, Evans, Godwin, and Brown are on the field. That's very, very difficult to game plan for and keep the point total down. I think Tampa Bay has a very, very good shot of getting back on starting a new 30-point streak here. So obviously not a worry in Tampa Bay scoring points, but New England, right? They haven't looked great on offense. Mac Jones hasn't done all that much to excite you, but Richard Sherman's back. I don't know. He's coming off Achilles injury. He's getting old. This is his first game. Could be a little rusty. I'm not really I think people are kind of hyping that up more than it is. Maybe he is still really good. I don't know. But Jamel Dean is out. Carlton Davis is questionable, so he might not be 100%. Jason Pierre-Paul is out. So a lot of injuries adding up on this Tampa Bay defense, which has already shown that you can throw on them. So I think New England's going to have to throw the ball to win. I don't think they can try to – I mean, maybe Belichick will try to do this, and he has some great defensive game plan to stop this Bucs offense. But I don't think that you can try to slow this game down and score, 14, 20 points to win this game against the Bucs. So I think Mac Jones is going to have to throw. I think they're going to scheme some stuff up because this is a defense you can move the ball on. Mac Jones should have some success. Again, I think the Bucs have a good chance getting into the 30s today. New England, if New England gets to 21, I think you have a good shot. If New England gets over 21, I really think that this should fly over. Again, 49.5. I still lean a little bit there. I don't love it as much. If you get some low vig at 49.5, I love it more, but I wouldn't pay a big price at 49.5. With 49 being a key number, obviously. So I am very happy to have 49 minus 103. As I think that this game has a very good chance of going into the 50s, as I think New England's defense is overrated, and I think Tom can score a bunch of points today. Monday night game, Vegas at Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers minus 3, total in this game 51.5. Kind of mad at myself. I leaned under earlier in the week. It was 53.5. That number's way gone. Thought that number was low. Vegas does this. Josh Jacobs back in the lineup too, expected to play. I think they kind of abandoned the run a little bit. Definitely against, I know they did against Pittsburgh. They thrown the ball. Derek Carr's been playing great. There's no denying that. But for the Chargers, Derwin James should be good to go. Keenan Allen good to go. Herbert, he was on the injury report. Chris Harris is questionable. Kenneth Murray questionable. Then you look at Vegas. Josh Jacobs still questionable. I think he's going to go. They do have some injuries in the defensive backfield, definitely at the safety position. But I don't like 53.5 is a ton of points. 51, I think, is the good. I think that's a good number. I lean Chargers. I still think we're overrating Vegas. I don't think they're a true 3-0 team. They beat Baltimore in a game that Baltimore was winning the whole time. Things kind of went Vegas's way, and Baltimore just couldn't put them away. Vegas came out on top. Obviously, they beat Pittsburgh, which we're learning every week that's not really all that special, right? Like we're supposed to be excited. And then they beat a Dolphins team. Again, came down to the wire. The Dolphins team is solid, but I don't think it's by any means great. So I think we're, again, overrating the Raiders here. I think the Chargers coming down on 3.5. I'm not going to say that the Chargers are worth a play, but they're about as close as I can get to not playing. I really lean the Chargers here. Definitely, if you can get a -3, like what's the best 3 price? Yeah, you can get like a -109. If you can get a regular VIG or even a lower VIG, I think the Chargers are the side with value here. I think the total is right. 51.5. It's juiced under. I make it 51.2. So I'm mad at myself that I didn't take this under. I think a big key is the Josh Jacobs factor. I said this to someone last week. I think Josh Jacobs being out makes Gruden throw the ball more because he doesn't have a great running back to hand the ball off to. I'm interested to see the splits with the Raiders runs and pass this week. Very interested to see what that looks like. So lean Chargers there, but did not make a play. I'm pretty okay with just skipping this game. Just because if Josh Jacobs doesn't go, then I think Vegas throws the ball, which doesn't bode well for the under or the Chargers -3. I'll run down through the games quick. As always, again, if you missed something, you want to check it out in the last 2 hours here before kick, at Elite Betting on Twitch, YouTube, the Elite Sports Network. After the video is done, the videos will be up there. You can go through each game, listen to my breakdown. Washington and Atlanta. I lean Atlanta. I played Atlanta at money line plus 108 earlier in the week. I'm seeing the best line as plus 103 now, so it looks like that's come down a little bit as I saw plus 107 earlier. But yeah, I think Falcons should be favored in that game. Detroit and Chicago, I said I leaned over. I still do. It's gross. Justin Fields, I think the offense looks better for Chicago today. I think Detroit can score some points as well. I don't really think either defense is good, so I do lean over there. Tennessee and New York, I have nothing. Right? Yeah, nothing. If you're betting the Jets at +6, good for you. Good luck today. Minnesota and Cleveland, I bet the under 51.5 minus 107. That number is still available. I think that is worth a play. Indy at Miami, I bet Miami earlier in the week at -1.5, minus 114. That number was still available by Friday. Indianapolis is absolutely gutted with injuries. I think Miami should have a great day on defense. I think the offense can do enough to win. Just need to win by a field goal, obviously. Carolina, Dallas. I am right on market here. I subjectively lean Dallas, though. I don't think Carolina has the offense to keep up. Giants at Saints. This is 7.5. 7 at the sharper books. Total of 42. I played Giants plus 7.5, plus 100. I think the Giants at +7 still has some value. But I will gladly take my plus 7.5, plus 100. Kansas City, Philly. This is in between 6.5 and 7, depending where you're shopping. Total of 45.5 or 45.5, 54.5. Slight lean towards the under 54.5, but I think the spread is priced appropriately. Houston at Buffalo. I played under 48 minus 117. We're now seeing 47 minus 111. All the 47.5s are gone. I said I liked 47 if you got a cheap 47. But Buffalo with Kansas City on deck, I don't think Buffalo is going to run things up. I think they kind of go bland on offense here. And I don't think Houston can score very much on Buffalo's defense. Arizona at LA. Rams -4, total 54. I lean under. I leaned under at 54.5, 54. Slightest of leans. I think this game script can be pretty slow, but I can see it also very high variance game in my opinion. I think both teams can light it up. I'm not kind of avoiding Rams totals for sure because I want to see more of what the Rams run pass splits are going to be. If they just start airing it out with Stafford, then good luck, I guess. Seattle at San Fran. I think Seattle has value at +2.5. I think the over has value at 52. Didn't play either of them. I think Seattle's a good teaser leg, but just something about this game. I didn't love the read with injuries in San Fran. Defensive line, they look all right, but I think Seattle and Russ and the weapons that he has at wideout can really score points on this beat-up San Francisco defensive backfield. Baltimore at Denver. Pretty much on market here. If you have a stale +1.5, I think Baltimore is a great teaser leg at +1. Did I miss any teaser legs? I mean, technically the Colts are a really good teaser leg, but I like the Dolphins, so I don't love it. And the Falcons +1.5 are a good teaser leg as well. Pittsburgh at Green Bay. I don't know how Pittsburgh scores. Green Bay has some injuries on the offensive line to an already offensive line that is kind of maybe not great as it's been in the past. Pittsburgh is healthy to start this game on the defensive line if they can stay healthy. I kind of like the under here, 45. We're seeing +101 now. I think that has some value. Didn't play it myself because of the injury reports all week, but I do think 45 under does have some value. Can't get scary because Pittsburgh will throw the ball a ton, but under has some value. Tampa Bay, New England, I played 49, over 49, -103. It's 49.5, -105. Still like that a little bit, not a ton of value as the 49 as we came off the key number, but I think that game has points. Raiders and Chargers, I lean Chargers at -3. The total I think is fine in that game. So again, if
you missed anything, you can watch on Twitch at Elite Betting and YouTube Elite Sports Network. I will be back next week. I got college football show with Frank on Wednesday at EliteSportsBetting.com. Thursday, lunch money, bringing down the NFL with Ricky and Paulie. And then Saturday, tailgate teaser with Duke. That's my weekly schedule at EliteSportsBetting.com. MLB playoffs. If you do not, root for the Mariners so we can rub it in Dream's face. Fantastic. If somehow the NFL games, or if you can get a second TV, if you have Red Zone on, the MLB playoffs wild card race today should be fantastic on the final day. So for myself, until next week, good luck on your bets today. Good luck on your bets until I see you next time. There he is, America's Dream, or America's Team from MLB Dream. Until next time, I'm Austin, and we'll see you next week.